वल्लभा गिरिवाराधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवाराधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदा नन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवाराधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवाराधारी यशोदा नंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदा नंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा राश्री हरि राधा राश्री हरि राधे जय गौरांगी बैंगलोरेश्वर गौरांगी जय जगन्नाथ जय बल्लदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय सुदर्शन जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय अनंत देव जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय निताय चैतन्य जय जय प्रभुपा प्रभुपा Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jai Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरि नाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाकचार्य स्तोत्र शत इस डिवाइन ग्रेस शिला अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाकचार्य स्तोत्र शत इस डिवाइन ग्रेस शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नमाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ छठ गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय कावेरी माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories and glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयन्तीरजे कष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतं सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलं गायतीं गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिन्तारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत् Hare Krishna, welcome all the devotees to this morning session of Srimad Bhagavatam, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam and 4, chapter 7, and today's verse for our discussion will be the 32nd verse. It's becoming interesting and interesting as we move more into this kind of Srimad Bhagavatam. Some of those wonderful pastimes are happening, and we are able to witness all of them through the Vani, because personally we were all not there, but now at least we are able to witness it through the Vani. We are able to hear from the great Vaishnavas, the Acharyas, and now we are able to enjoy the nectar. Indra Uvacha Idamapi Achyutya Vishwabhavana Vapurananda Karmano Drisham Sura Vivita Kraspane Udayudhail Ujadandail Vasna Upapanam अस्ति इंद्र उवाच इदमपि अच्युत्य विश्वभावना वपुरानन्दकरं मनोक्षं सुराविद्वित् प्रस्फनैः बुद्ध्यादन्दैः पावनम् अस्ति इंद्र उवाच इदमपि अच्युत्य विश्वभावना वपुरानन्दकरं मनोक्षं सुराविद्वित् प्रस्फनैः बुद्ध्यभियुतैः Ujadande Upapanam Astiti. What translation? Indra Uvacha, King Indra said, Idam, this, Api, certainly, Achyuta, O infallible one, Vishwabhavanam, for the welfare of the universe, Vapu, transcendental form, Anandakaram, a cause of pleasure, Manadrisham, to the mind and the eye, Suravidvet, envious of your devotees. Shapanai, my punishment. Uda Ayudhai, with uplifted weapons, Puja Dandai with arms, Upapanam possessor, Astiti with eight. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. King Indra said, "My dear Lord, your transcendental form with eight hands and weapons in each of them appear for the welfare of the entire universe, and it is very pleasing to the mind and the eyes. In such a form, your Lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of your devotees." Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is generally understood from the revealed scriptures that Lord Vishnu appears with four hands. But in this particular sacrificial arena, Lord Vishnu arrived with eight hands. King Indra said, "Even though we are accustomed to see your four-handed Vishnu form, this appearance with eight hands is as real as the four-handed form. As Lord Brahma had said, to realize the transcendental form of the Lord is beyond the power of the senses." In reply to that statement by Brahma, King Indra said that even though the transcendental form of the Lord is not perceivable by the material senses, his activities and his transcendental form can be understood. The Lord's uncommon features, uncommon activities, and uncommon beauty can be perceived even by an ordinary man. For example, when Lord Krishna appeared just like a 6 or 7-year-old boy in Vrindavan, he was approached by the residents there. There were torrents of rain, and the Lord saved the residents of Vrindavan by lifting Govardhan hill and resting it on his little finger of the left hand for 7 days. This uncommon feature of the Lord should convince even materialistic persons who want to speculate the limit of their material senses. The activities of the Lord are pleasing to the experimental vision also, but impersonalists will not believe in this identity because they study the personality of Godhead by comparing their personality to his. Because men in this material world cannot lift a hill, they do not believe in that the Lord can lift one. They accept the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam be allegorical, and they try to interpret them in their own way. But actually, the Lord lifted the hill in the presence of all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, as corroborated by the great acharyas and authors like Vyasadeva and Narada. Everything about the Lord, his activities, his pastimes, and uncommon features should be accepted as it is. In this way, even our present condition, we can understand the Lord in the instantia. King Indra confirmed, your presence with eight hands is as good as your presence with four hands. There is no doubt about it. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 7, Canto 4, Chapter 7, and the text number verse 33 that we are discussing today. Omagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttartagamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sadhujatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Pika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gabrangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Siddhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshapadne Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Vishnu Vijayata Acharya Padaya. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance. Hare Krishna. As I said, the interesting chapters unfolding beyond what we have already read so far. And just to give you a little background, this is the first time where Lord Shiva was insulted by Daksha, Prajapati Daksha. And the first time when he went to the sacrificial arena, he was insulted and he leaves from the sacrificial arena without making a statement, without making a comment. That's the quality of a Vaishnava. And then, second time, he was not even invited. Sorry. Second time, he was not even invited, though Mother Sati knew that there's a big sacrificial offering that is happening at her father's house. She was not invited. But then, it is said in the Bhagavatam that mothers are generally very emotional, and in her emotion, she decides that she would like to go there, and she asks Lord Shiva whether he would like to, join for the sacrificial oblation. But then Lord Shiva says that she could go, but he would not accompany her. But then she goes there, she does not get respect. She also finds that there's nothing really kept there for the oblation to Lord Shiva, and she feels really sad about it. And then she speaks to her father about it, saying that what you're doing is not right. And then father speaks ill about Lord Shiva. So then she leaves her body. And seeing this, the followers of Lord Shiva become very, very angry. Lord Shiva is also morosed. He also is feeling the separation from his dear wife. And Nandishwara and others attack the fire sacrificial arena. They fight. They, give physical harm to many people who supported Daksha. Like they cut the head of Daksha, and then finally there was one goat whose head was fitted on Daksha's head. After this, Lord Brahma and Indra come and pray at the Lord at Shiva's. They come and request Lord Shiva, saying that you should stop this for the pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And listening to the instructions of Brahma and Indra, he finally stopped there. And here we see the grand entry of Lord Vishnu. So in the background, we see that Vaishnava Aparadha is something that one should never commit, knowingly or unknowingly. Here, Daksha realizes his mistake. And this chapter is actually titled as that. And he comes and begs forgiveness. And Lord Shiva, being Vaishnava Nam Yata Shambhu, the greatest of the devotee, pardons him. And here there's a very nice description of the Lord coming in 800 form, Ashtabhuja form. We generally think of Lord into 400 form. Charbhuja form is what we have generally seen in most of the temples. And Lord Krishna comes in Bhuja form, Vibhuja form. So here the description of the Lord is given with Ashtabhuja form, and he is being glorified, Lord Indra. Actually, the shloka starts with that glorification of Lord, mighty Lord Indra. It says, Indra Vacha. King Indra said, my dear Lord. So he's referring to Lord Vishnu, your transcendental form with 8 hands and weapons in each of them. Here it is shown that, all the hands have individual weapons. And very clearly, Lord Indra is saying in the translation said that each of them appears for the welfare of the entire universe and is very pleasing to the mind and the eyes. In such a form, your lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of devotees. So it's always said that, there are two purposes that the Lord comes with. The Lord actually comes to protect his devotees and he hates the miscreants. And he comes every millennium. And as we said in the purport, Prabhupada describes very clearly, saying that generally we see from the revealed scriptures that he appears with 4 hands, but particularly in the sacrificial arena, Lord Vishnu arrived with 8 hands. And Lord Indra is again saying that we are always used to seeing you in 400 form. But nevertheless, your 800 form is as good as 400 form for us. And if we have to realize the transcendental form of the Lord is actually beyond the power of the senses. Even though the transcendental form of the Lord is not pursued by the material senses, his activities and his transcendental forms can be understood. Yeah. So going back into the conversation here today, if we see the shloka, all the devatas, all the demigods are glorifying the Lord with prayers. So initially, when you see, they glorify Lord Shiva, saying that you are the highest. Now, when Lord Vishnu comes, or when Lord Vishnu arrives, they started glorifying the Lord. So we see that many times we refer certain personalities as Bhagavan. We've also seen Lord Narada is referred as Bhagavan. Lord Hanuman is also referred as Hanuman. Not that they are actually the supreme personality of Godhead, not that they are the Lord, but many times when we glorify a person, we always use those high, words for them. But it does not mean that everybody is the Lord. Yeah, earlier you see Lord Shiva was glorified, and they said, you're the greatest. But now when Lord Vishnu arrives, they say you are the greatest. And we all know when Lord Vishnu arrives, everybody glorified Lord Vishnu. As everybody knows that Lord Vishnu is the highest person or personality. Lord Shiva gives this introduction to Mother Parvati, that the name, the dham, the paraphernalia, all are complete. And, in the Padma Purana, it says, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Paritranam Devi Tadatmanam Samacharam. Of all types of worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. And better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotees, Vaishnavas. There are so many demigods worshipped by people who are attached to material desires. It is more to do with the Karma Yuga. But people are embarrassed by so many material desires that they worship Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Goddess Kali, Durga, Ganesh, Surya, and all of them to achieve different results. However, if one worships Lord Vishnu, all the results can be simultaneously achieved by worshipping of Lord Vishnu. So, and there's again in Bhagavatam 4.3.14, this is one shloka. Yatataro Mula Nishachennena. So it says, just like pouring the water to the root of the tree, one nourishes its trunks and all its branches, fruits, and flowers. And just by supplying food to the stomach, one satisfied all the limbs of the body. Similarly, worshipping Lord Vishnu, one can satisfy everyone. And Krishna consciousness is a non-sectarian religious movement. Rather, it is meant for all, embracing welfare of the world. One can actually enter this movement without discrimination in terms of caste, creed, religion, or nationality. If one is trained to worship worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the origin of Vishnu Tattva, one can become fully satisfied and perfect in all the respects. I was reading actually the purport of 4.3.14. Here, we can see this in practice. Many times people speak about equality, but you don't see equality happening. But in the movement that Srila Prabhupada created, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought all of us together into the movement of under the name of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or Brahma Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya. You see people, there is no discrimination. You'll see people from everywhere in the world coming and joining this movement. Even in India, you see different people, the so-called high-born Vaishnavas or high-born Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Shudras, all of them come together and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when you worship Krishna, who is the origin of the Vishnu Tattva, one can become fully satisfied and perfect in all respects. So the example is given here, whereas everybody can come into the movement and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And first is to glorify the Lord, and then the king. These are the formalities. So even today, if you go to Sri Rangam, the Lord there in Sri Rangam, if you go to the now, it's a bigger this one, but the actual old city was only old town, we can call it as. It was within those 7 walls. And all the people would live within those 7 walls, and they would do different sevas in the temple. It can be somebody who's talking about Bhagavatam. It can be somebody who's cleaning the temple. It can be somebody who's, making flower garlands. It's somebody who's a security, somebody who's cleaning the area, somebody who's cooking the bhoga for the Lord, and somebody is doing the deity worship. So if we see, everybody in those days were engaged in some service or the other for the Lord. And there are many families that you see. I was hearing this from His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. He said there are families as big as 50 people in their family, joint families, and they don't cook anything at home. So does it mean that they go hungry? No. They are part of Ranganath's family, and when when there is prasadam, which is served, whole family gets nourished. So Mahaprasad of Ranganath is given to all of them. So that means they are keeping Ranganath as the center of their families. They do not do anything else. As I said, they do different sevas in the temple, and they get satisfaction with that. There are so many daily activities that you see, Anustan, Palki Utsav, different music instruments are played. And you see all these instruments, if somebody is playing the Shahnai very nicely, for so many generations they've been doing it. If somebody is playing, they have a small instrument like Mridanga. If somebody's playing, their whole generation has been doing that. So they keep playing the same instrument for the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord, for so many paramparas or so many generations. In the morning, they play a very nice instrument. Again, in the afternoon, when the Lord is, waking up, they play this nice instruments. So likewise, even when Raja Dashrath would wake up, there would be, people who would be around him. This party actually wakes up. As for the Lord, even for the kings, because they were all Rajarishis. All these people coming in from Surya Vamsh, Chandra Vamsh, they're all great devotees of the Lord. And these great devotees of the Lord are we worship like the Lord. Yeah, but they are not Lord. We should always make a difference. A guru should be worshipped like a Lord, but he is not the Lord. And Guru never thinks that he's Lord. Have you ever seen any guru? Some of these Pakhandi gurus will still do, but a bona fide spiritual master will never say that I am God. He'll never say that. So, when Raja Dashrath is also, there in his own kingdom, everybody treats him like the Lord. Yeah, like I said, because they are all Rajarishis. And when Raja Dashrath left his body, Ram was in the Vanavas. We all know that story. Bharat and Shatrugna were called back from their mama's house. They were their uncle's house, mama, what we call it in Hindi. And they're called back. And Bharat was not very happy hearing that he had to become the killed. He actually curses his mother, saying that, I'm disgusted with whatever you did, and I'm even ashamed that I was born to you. So, but still, he had to accept being the king because there was no king. There is no king, then the whole kingdom will go haywire. So while he would sleep, they would play the musical instruments to wake him up. So he stops them in that he played only for Lord Ramachandra and not for him. So if somebody glorifies, who is very important, it is nice. He should be qualified. We should we should glorify a person who's qualified. In the current day scenario, you see so many politicians or so many probably so-called film stars and sports stars, they're all being glorified, but they don't have, yeah, they may have that little qualification of either acting or playing some of those games, or maybe a little bit of management while managing the country or being politicians. But they should not be glorified the way that you glorify the Lord. It is very important that we glorify a qualified person. If you glorify an unqualified person, his ego goes up. He gets puffed up. Yeah, like Bharat, Bharat Maharaj, when he was crowned as the king, he said, "No, no, I'm not qualified. The glorification should be done for Lord Ramachandra and not for me." Likewise, if somebody is glorified, even despite his being not qualified, his ego gets boosted. He gets puffed up. The false ego gets puffed up. And that is why in our parampara we have always said that if somebody comes and offers any glorification to us, we should pass it over to Guru. You would always say that, Srila Prabhupada made this statement very nicely. People would come and tell Prabhupada, you started such a big movement, you're doing so well, you have disciples from all over the world. Srila Prabhupada said, this is just because of the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. Yeah, he never said, yes, I'm a big man, I've done this, I've established 108 temples, I've written so many, I've done so much of translation of Bhagavatam, I've written so many books. No, he never take that personally. That is the quality of a Vaishnava. He never takes it for himself, even though he has done it. He always passes it on to the seniors in the parampara. So Srila Prabhupada would always say, this is because of the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, Om Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parijakacarya Stotarashaka, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Yeah. Likewise, you see everybody glorifies the higher orders, and then they never take the glorification for themselves. So the glorification is to be done for a qualified person. And if we are qualified, if we are glorified, if we are glorified, we should never take the glorification for ourselves. We should pass it to our Guru and the Acharyas in the Parampara. But the kings did have some qualities because they were Rajrishis and they were okay to be glorified. In the demigods, if you see Lord Shiva, he's the highest. Vaishnava Yathashubhu. In all the demigods, Lord Shiva is at the highest level. And the Vaishnavas also. And over him is Lord Vishnu. And he comes in that 800 form, which we don't really see. That's very nice. Another story also, how we talked about. I would like to relate the story. This is a story of King Pondrik, who was ruling in the neighborhood of Dwarka. So when Krishna was ruling Dwarka, Pondrik was very puffed up, and he would tell that you're a fake form. I am actually Krishna. And he would actually dress like Krishna. He would wear a mukut like Krishna. He would wear the garlands like Krishna. And though he had only two hands, he would add two hands, like we see in the fancy dress competition, sometimes, where people add two more legs, two more hands. So he would actually add two more hands. And, he actually wears all the paraphernalia of Krishna. And he actually sends a dooth from his side saying that, you please take my sharan, come and surrender to me, otherwise I will kill you. Okay. So Krishna, keeps laughing about this. All the ministers in the court of Krishna are also very, very loudly laughing about this, saying that, I don't know what is this Pondarik up to. He's calling his own death. So Krishna actually sends a word back with this dooth who has come, that you're not bigger than Krishna, you're not bigger than anybody, you're the biggest fool, and you're calling your own death. So when dooth goes back to Pondrik's court and narrates that, Krishna did this, and they were laughing, and, all that. So So he feels very, very annoyed, and he says, "I will come and I will fight the battle." So he comes with his army, parks the army outside Dwarika, and again tells Krishna, saying that now at least you surrender unto me, otherwise I'm going to kill you. And he actually blows the conch called Panchajanya. He has the fake Panchajanya. Panchajanya is the uh, you know the shank of Krishna, but he has another shank, Pandrik, and he calls it Panchajanya. So when Krishna comes out, he starts laughing, looking at Pandrik. It's like a fancy dress competition. And the Lord does not require any fancy dress. Here you see he comes in an 800 form. So it's not that, he's just attaching some artificial limbs to his body. No. So here, actually, in the fight, they instigate each other. And we've also seen this kind of fight when Duryodhana and Bhima were fighting. That's the quality of Kshatriyas, They actually say, come on, let's see who wins. So that's the kind of instigation. So Krishna actually, when he starts laughing and instigating Pandrik, he also gets, really very angry at it, saying that you're calling me the biggest fool. Let me see how you win this battle. I'm going to kill you, and then, you're going to take, I'm going to take over your kingdom and all of that. So yeah, they glorify the form, and then finally, Pandrik comes into the battle, and he loses. Krishna actually kills Pandrik in the battlefield, and then Pandrik's puffed up nature, or that ego which he had, gets smashed. And they glorify the form of the Lord. Everybody glorifies the form of the Lord. And asuras are given punishment, and devotees are protected always. So Pandrik was like a asura, so he was given the punishment. And in the fight between Bhima and Duryodhana, Bhima was protected. Yeah. Well, Krishna, if you see, we have also had this conversation earlier. Krishna never kills anybody. He'll be a little surprised saying that, why am I making this statement? Yes, it is a fact. It is only Lord Vishnu who actually kills all of them. The only work that Krishna has, either in Golok Vrindavan or in Vrindavan. So why do we say Golok Vrindavan and Vrindavan? Golok Vrindavan is not different from Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is not different from Golok Vrindavan. There he is just playing on his bansuri, he's enjoying with the Brajvasis, he's enjoying with his cows. He goes to the forest to graze the cows, and Mother Yashoda gives him prashadam to be eaten, and Nanda Baba is waiting for him to come back in the evening. So these are all pastimes which are happening in Golok Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is a replica of Golok Vrindavan. So there also all the pastimes are happening like that. All the work, if you see, is done by Lord Vishnu. Krishna's killing of asuras in Vrindavan is not done by Krishna himself. It is done by Lord Vishnu. So this is one understanding that one needs to really take, saying that Krishna never kills. He is always in enjoyment form. He is always in the mood of enjoyment. He never kills anybody. He never does any work. He's always relaxed and enjoy. So here we see that the form, the 800 form of Lord Vishnu is shown here, and everybody glorifies, including Lord Indra and Lord Brahma glorified. And Lord Indra says, you are not different from your 400 form, or even 200 form. And we would love to hear from you. We would love to get instructions from you as we go. Many times, again, in this example, it is given that the people of Vrindavan were so simple, and everybody would just accept. And there they would think of Krishna as the 6 or 7 years old boy. And when there is torrential rains, they approached him. And then in that rain also, Krishna saved them, the residents of Vrindavan, but just by lifting the Govardhana hill and resting it on his little finger for 7 days. Think of, resting on small, anything in our hand. Forget about finger. In our hand also, you can't hold anything for a long time. But Krishna there is behaving like an ordinary person. And everybody thinks that he is an ordinary person. So they go to him. Yeah. this uncommon feature of the Lord should convince even the materialistic, because many times people say, how can Krishna do that? Krishna, it is possible. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. When the acharyas like Vyasadeva and Narada have confirmed that the activities, the pastimes, the uncommon feature should be accepted as is. And in this way, even in our present condition, we can understand the Lord. Yeah. Like Lord Indra confirms that your presence with 8-hand form is as good as your presence with 4-hand forms. So we should accept the Shastras, we should just accept it. We should be questioning them. And if somebody has any doubt, we always say that, 3 sources should be confirmed: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. If your Guru says this is what it is, and if it is confirmed by a Sadhu and it is written in the Shastra, then we have to accept it as confirmed. So, our Shastra says, Vishwara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vikram, Anadiradha Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. So we should accept that form of Krishna, saying that he is the supreme personality of Godhead and he is everything. So I think we've covered everything in today's shloka. If there are any questions or any corrections, I would be happy to take them. If you would like to add something, I'll be happy to accept that. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. And if there are any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I had some more things to be discussed. Maybe I'll take another 5 to 7 minutes. But anything related to today's class, we can discuss now. Otherwise, we'll end the Srimad Bhagavatam class, because today is also a very important day. Today is the day when Srila Prabhupada reached United States of America. That's the beginning of the instructions that was given by His Holiness Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada to go to the Western world. So there are 2 instructions, primarily 2 instructions given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada. Was in the first meeting, Srila Prabhupada, you all know that, Srila Prabhupada did not meet his Guru Maharaj many times. He did not have so much, he did not spend so much of time with his Guru Maharaj, but then 2 very important instructions, which were very close to Srila Prabhupada, were in the first meeting. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj had told Srila Prabhupada, saying that you're qualified, because Srila Prabhupada was English qualified. He said, if you can preach to the English-speaking people of the Western world. So that was the first instruction that Srila Prabhupada had received from his spiritual master. The second instruction was, if you ever have money, print books. Very 2 important instructions. So the first instruction, to fulfill the first instruction, Srila Prabhupada left to United States of America. And then today, 24th of September, was the day when Srila Prabhupada reached the port of United States for the beginning of the glorious movement of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And then, as we all know, during Srila Prabhupada's mortal life, till the time that he was available here in this physical form, he established 108 temples and established so many farm communities and made so many devotees. Not only that, he also started in a very big way the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, which would print all the books like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita as it is, and all our Shastras and Puranas. So these are 2 important things that were instructions to Srila Prabhupada, and he took it as his life and soul, and he completed both of them during his very lifetime. And he traveled extensively to spread the Krishna conscious movement. On his travel extensively, he would also wake up in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock and write the translation to Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and all the other Puranas. So it's very important that, he's put so much of efforts. We as Prabhupada Anugas, followers of Srila Prabhupada, should execute the orders of Srila Prabhupada, because if you see, his spiritual master's orders were very close to his heart. So we should also have this orders of Srila Prabhupada, who's our Acharya, very close to our heart, and preach the holy name of the Lord and execute the orders of our own spiritual masters to please Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara. So this is a very important day today. We should actually meditate on this date, saying that, with so much of difficulty, Srila Prabhupada from here went to America just to execute the orders of his Guru Maharaj. and that orders of his Guru Maharaj is what today has made us human beings. Otherwise, we were worse than animals. Yeah. We would also be eating, mating, defending, and sleeping like the animals do. But today, because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, today we are able to take up the Krishna consciousness. We are able to talk about Krishna. We are able to hear about Krishna and also preach the holy name of the Lord. So thank you very much for your patient hearing. Really appreciate your time in the morning. If there are any questions, please go ahead and ask, or if there are any comments, please go ahead. Otherwise, we will end the session here. I believe there are no questions, so we will end the session here. Thank you for your patient hearing. And I thank the management for giving me an opportunity to speak on the holy subject of Srimad Bhagavatam today. And pardon me if I have made anything, if I've made a wrong statement or anything. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की
धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी आपका। आपने लास्ट 20 अच्छा समझ में आया कि हम जो भी हो रहा है हरि गुरु वैष्णव की कृपा से हो रहा है।
सच बात कही प्रभु आप जी। रेवती लीला प्रभु आपने बहुत ही बराबर बात कही कि जो भी हो रहा है वो हरि गुरु वैष्णव की कृपा से ही हो रहा है। हमारा कोई
कल परसों जब मैं बोल रहे थे ना धन्यवाद व्यास पूजा बारे में, तो मैं भी रियलाइज हो रहा था कि जब जो कुछ हो रहा है उनकी कृपा से ही हो रहा है। हम लोग उसमें रियलाइज नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो आज मैं रियलाइज करूँ जो हो रहा है उनकी कृपा से हम कर पाते, नहीं तुम कहाँ कर।
हमारी कोई कैपेसिटी नहीं है, हरि गुरु वैष्णव की कृपा से ही जो भी हो रहा है वो हो रहा है प्रभु जी। और हमें उसको अपना ईगो नहीं बनाना चाहिए।
जी जी यस प्रभु।
जैसे कि यहाँ पर भी पौंडरिक के बारे में बताया था, उसको ईगो हो गया था।
हाँ जी,
उस हिसाब से हमको नहीं होना चाहिए। हमको
हम बच जाए सुनने के बाद फिर भी हो जाता है प्रभु जी।
हम्म,
हम बद्ध है ना, इतना सुनने के बाद फिर भी थोड़ा नहीं सुनते हैं ना, तो ऐसा लगता है मैंने कैसा लग जाता है।
तो इसके लिए हम जो भी करते हैं वो हमें अपने गुरु और परंपरा को समर्पित कर देना चाहिए, अर्पण कर देना चाहिए। धन्यवाद
यस
प्रभु
प्रभु।
जी, आपका बहुत बहुत।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च
सिद्धू की एवं पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय।
जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरि प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।
हम नाम प्रभु की जय। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी, आपने इतना अच्छा समझा। प्रभु जी के लिए हरे कृष्ण मत बोलिए सब लोग। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
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 कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय हो प्रभु जी।
आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
थैंक यू प्रभु जी।